Jasmine Pineda sat in her Miami apartment, staring at her phone screen. Her Instagram comments were filled with questions she wasn't ready to answer yet. Jasmine, are you and Gino still together? Why aren't you wearing your ring? Are you back in Panama? She sighed, rubbing her temples as she scrolled through the endless flood of speculation. The truth was, everything had fallen apart. Her relationship with Gino Palacios was over. But the breakup wasn't just about heartbreak, it was about survival. Her visa status was now in jeopardy, and with recent crackdowns on immigrants overstaying their permits, Jasmine realized she might not have much time left in the U.S. A notification popped up on her phone, an email from her lawyer. Urgent. Immigration policy updates and your status. Her stomach tightened. She tapped the message open and read the first few lines. Due to recent changes in immigration policy and increased enforcement, individuals without a finalized adjustment of status may be subject to expedited removal. Given your recent change in marital status, we need to discuss your options immediately. Jasmine's hands trembled. This was worse than she thought. If she didn't act fast, she could be deported within weeks. When Jasmine first met Gino, she believed he was her ticket to a better life. A quirky, hat-obsessed American man with a stable income and a heart full of love. At least, that's what she thought. Their relationship had been tumultuous from the start, full of jealousy, accusations, and secrets. But love made her blind. Despite all their fights, she believed they would make it. She left her job, her family, and her entire life in Panama to be with him. She traded the familiar, humid air of Panama City for the cold uncertainty of Michigan. And now, it was all crumbling. The final fight had been explosive. You only wanted me for a green card, Gino had shouted, his face red with anger. Jasmine had thrown a glass against the wall. And you only wanted me to control me. Their arguments had always been fiery, but this time there was no making up. No passionate reconciliation. No promises to work through it. Jasmine had walked out, tears streaming down her face. And now she was on her own, stranded in a country that was ready to throw her out. Jasmine wasn't the only one facing trouble. In recent months, immigration laws had become stricter. The U.S. government had announced an aggressive new plan to deport individuals who had overstayed their visas or whose legal status was in question. News headlines screamed about mass deportations, ICE raids, and immigrant families being separated. Thousands deported amid immigration crackdown. Biden administration faces backlash for deportation surge. Reality TV star caught in immigration battle. Jasmine felt sick. She knew her situation was bad, but she hadn't realized how dire it was until she saw her name trending on social media. Jasmine Pineda, 90-day fiancé, star facing deportation. It was real. The world knew. Jasmine's lawyer, Rachel Thompson, was blunt. "You have two options, Jasmine," she said over Zoom. "You can try to marry someone else to adjust your status, but with the new regulations, that's risky. If immigration suspects fraud, they'll detain you immediately." Jasmine gulped. "And the second option? You leave voluntarily before they deport you. If you're forcibly removed, you could be banned from returning to the U.S. for 10 years. If you leave on your own, you might still have a chance to come back legally in the future." The words hit Jasmine like a punch. "So, I have no choice," she whispered. "I have to go back to Panama." Rachel nodded. "Unless you find another way to secure your status immediately." Jasmine closed her eyes. Marrying someone else wasn't an option. Not so soon after Gino. And even if she wanted to, who would agree to that kind of arrangement on such short notice? No. The reality was clear. She had to leave. Producers from 90-Day Fiancé were already reaching out. They wanted her on the tell-all special, and Jasmine knew this was her last chance to tell her side of the story. When the cameras started rolling, Jasmine sat on the couch, taking a deep breath. Sean Robinson, the host, leaned in. "So, Jasmine, there are rumors that you might be leaving the U.S. Can you confirm?" Jasmine hesitated for only a second before nodding. "It's true," she admitted. "Because of my situation with Gino, I no longer have a legal path to stay. I'll be going back to Panama." The room fell silent. Gino, sitting across from her, looked uncomfortable. He knew this wasn't just a breakup. It was a life-altering moment for Jasmine. "Do you blame Gino for this?" Sean asked. Jasmine sighed. "No, it was both of us. But I gave up everything for this relationship, and now I have to start over." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I never wanted it to end like this." The audience murmured. Social media exploded. And just like that, Jasmine's fate was sealed. Jasmine packed her bags in silence. The Miami sun shone brightly outside, but all she could feel was the weight of her disappointment. Her best friend, Marcella, helped her zip up her suitcase. "Are you sure there's nothing else you can do?" Jasmine shook her head. "It's over. I have to go back." At the airport, as she handed over her passport and boarding pass, she took one last deep breath. America had been her dream. Now it was just a chapter she had to close. As she stepped onto the plane, Jasmine whispered to herself, "This isn't the end. I'll be back." And with that, she disappeared into the sky, leaving behind the country that had once promised her everything. Back in Panama, Jasmine tried to rebuild her life. She started a new fitness coaching business, leaned on her family, and began working on a plan to return to the U.S., legally this time. But in the world of 90 Day Fiancé, nothing stays quiet for long. Rumors swirled. Jasmine in talks for a spinoff. Will she return to the U.S.? Jasmine's new mystery man. Another American? Jasmine wasn't done with reality TV. And maybe, just maybe, America wasn't done with her either.